So it looks like we will be starting the TBT here. Again, it's on MLG Antigua Shipyard, so a mirror matchup right away. And it's cool to see these two players. We know that Murder sort of returned to the scene triumphantly several weeks ago and has been playing the last several Wednesday Night StarCrafts. And then the newcomer from vVv, a new Terran, a Korean player, and So Hyun. So be interested to see what his TBT looked like. He wasn't as impressive last week, winning or losing his first match, but hopefully we'll see some strong play from him tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he did go up against Sleep, who
Yeah,
was
a little bit.
absolute, yeah, a little bit dominant. But I do know that Seo Hyung, based upon what I've seen, likes to be really aggressive. Now we do have Murder spawning as the purple Terran at the 9 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Seo Hyung spawning as the red Terran here at the 3 o'clock position. This is Force Cross Spawns, MLG Antigua Shipyard. Also, no gold mineral patches in the center of the map at all, so it is just your standard blues. But then again, it's going to be changed eventually because mules can no longer harvest more quickly from gold mineral patches, if you didn't hear.
Yeah, we can maybe talk about that patch a little bit tonight, basically the anti-Terran patch. Not anti-Terran, I'd say it just fixes some things that have probably been broken since the start of release here. So we'll talk about that, I'm sure, as the night progresses. But I'm really excited that they are adding gold bases back into the game. I feel like they add a little bit of flair, and the fact that the mules were a bit of a problem was unfortunate. But if they find a solution that sort of works and balances it out between all the races, I think it's fun to have those gold bases. It's very high priority, high risk in some circumstances, but it basically adds some sort of wrinkle to the game that we don't otherwise see sometimes.
Yeah, I know that Ruff is perhaps a little bit upset about that, as Ruff liked to
Yeah.
utilize those gold mineral patches early on with mules and start strip mining and getting a very very strong economy that way. As Murder doing a proxy racks here already, and very interesting to see a proxy racks this early in game.
Yeah.
And there's nothing really inside Murder's base, so we'll see if Seo Hyung will be able to counter this well enough, and what exactly Seo Hyung's strategy will be as well. It looks like the barracks timing are about neck and neck. Seo Hyung about 2 seconds ahead here, or 5 seconds ahead here. But I do believe Murder's economy is a little bit slower just because he had to walk this SCV all the way across.
Now Murder went for gas as well. So I mean, is he gonna add an add-on to that Rax, or do you proxy with an add-on in TVT? That seems really strange and a really susceptible place there.
Yeah, what I would normally think is perhaps Murder may try to get a couple Marines. Oh no, he is going for an add-on, so that is
Huh.
really strange. As Seo Hyung could actually steal that add-on. 50, yeah, 50 minerals, 25 gas. As and now an SCV does come up the ramp, he does spot the factory. A Marine will be making its way out. That SCV does have to run away and perhaps set up something else. What is it gonna do? The SCV just simply hiding off to the north. The Marine is gonna spot this building here, and what is going on? It is gonna be Marauders with concussive shell.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. Just having that SCV retreat out of the base of So Young, I think almost baited the Marine to come down and check for it. And his pathway basically led him right towards that barracks for Murder, but he immediately canceled the add-on on his racks, and now he's going to try to take on this Marauder, but Marauder's with that one armor, and we see a bunker coming in here. If this bunker completes, it's going to be big-time problems for So Young, but he does a nice job of focusing down that SCV right away, and this Marauder doing its best to kite. I'm not sure he's actually going to kill much of anything. A second Marauder does pop out. He's going to try to focus down these two Marines. One does go down, and now he's going to try to save the other Marauder, and he's focusing down more and more SCVs, but he doesn't take down too many there, and So Young has defended this.
All right, so I'm not quite sure who actually came out ahead. If you take a look at the losses are higher for Murder, but then Seo Hyung did end up losing a lot of resources just because his SCVs weren't mining for quite some time. Hellions are now going to chase away as Murder giving a pause to the game, and we'll see how this is going to transition. Murder, I've never seen him open up with such a unique build or such a cheesy build, and early pressure sometimes works, especially if a Terran player tries to do a little bit too much economy early on or too much teching early on. But I think Seo Hyung should be able to have this moving into the next portion of the game, already getting up his starport.
Yeah, I was going to say at the start of the night that we probably won't see too many cheeses between these two players or between any of the players tonight in the King of the Hill, but now I'm rethinking that a little bit. Originally, I thought, these are teammates. They're probably going to play straight up, really practice, but when you're practicing with teammates, it's actually a good time to really practice your cheeses because when you're practicing on the ladder, a lot of times the level of competition that you're facing isn't very high. So you might practice a cheese and it might be very successful, and then you'll go into meaningful games with some false confidence. But if you're practicing cheeses against teammates, really sort of fleshing out builds and figuring out weaknesses and strengths, I think it can definitely help both players.
Yeah, we'll see what Murder does now. The tech lab is still providing site for Murder, so unless the Marines destroy it or a building gets added on there, Murder's gonna have a little bit of a scout tech lab for quite some time. Hellions are not gonna be able to get up that ramp all too easily. But there's nothing to really stop this, though, so the Hellions are going to be able to just slowly burn away at the supply depot as more Marines now coming over. Harvester count does show, what, 20 to 23. Murder does have an advantage there, but right now, all of these Hellions and Marines are simply going unchallenged.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because this supply depot is about to go down. Even when SCVs are pulled off to try to repair it, the Hellions and the Marines just going to tear those apart. So the early losses to SCVs, So-Hyun is going to make that up probably twofold here. As he's about to bust down the supply depot, Murder's got to try to send another few SCVs, but in comes So-Hyun, and I'm not sure Murder's going to be able to defend this. He only has one tank coming out. If that does finish, it might be able to finish off these units, but how many SCVs is Murder about to lose?
Yeah, Murder's going to lose a lot. You can see that the SCVs are trying to split up. The Hellions now seeing those siege tanks don't want to engage against it. The Hellions now trying to make their way over. The Marine's going to try to focus it down. It looks like it will be able to focus it down. There it goes. And I think Murder has pretty much no leg to stand on. No attacking units at all besides those SCVs. SCVs dealing a little bit of damage. A Viking now in ground mode to try to just push back all of these units. And it looks like the Viking with that range of 6 dealing a lot of damage here. And taking down, and perhaps it will be enough to fend this attack off as more Hellions come in again, but in comes a Banshee.
Banshee. Yeah, that's going to spell probably GG here. I think Murder has already lost 23 workers. He is down to just 4 SCVs, and even if this Banshee is taken down by this Viking, I feel like it was able to take down a tank there, and oh, here comes Cloak, and one scan already used, but no more scans, and there's the GG as that Viking goes right out of that scan range, and Murder, well, he ends this one early with a little bit of failed cheese.